Originally, this bulkhead between the V-berth and the head went straight up to the overhead. We took a saber saw to it and cut a notch out about 5 or 6 inches deep. It's really made getting in and out of the V-berth a whole lot easier. The curtain system we use aboard Ternabout is really very simple. We can't claim credit for it though, because we copied it from a Tartan 27 we'd seen down in Oxford, Maryland. Simply take a length of bungee and thread it through pockets sewn at the top and the bottom of the curtain. Tie the bungee into a knot forming a loop, then the loop itself snaps over wooden drawer pull handles bolted to the side of the hull. You can slide the curtain back along the bungee to let a little light in, or you can simply unsnap the whole bungee affair to let a lot more light in. This set of curtains came from our local discount store and cost us about $15.95 if I remember correctly. This is the standard hardware we use for one of our curtain restraining knobs. We have a barrel nut here, that's threaded on the inside. This is a standard wooden drawer pull knob, and we drilled a clearance hole through the center to fit the barrel nut. On the outside of the hull, we use a stainless steel finishing washer and a stainless steel screw. Make sure you use plenty of 3M4200 around the base of the knob and the finishing washer to seal it off from any leaks. As you've no doubt noticed from the exterior scenes, Ternabout has some huge bow windows. Even with the curtains in place, there were times when enough light would get below to make sleeping difficult. In addition, there's always the UV light coming in, fading everything below decks here in the V-berth as well as the curtains themselves. For that reason, we decided to install some sort of sunscreen to prevent that. What we found were some very neat automobile type sunscreens with silver material on one side and black material on the other. They have a wire frame that allows them to snap right open like so. Now to mount the sunscreens, we just feed them up from the bottom of the curtain and snap them in place on some hooks we've installed. Now these hooks are simply plastic adhesive backed coat hooks. Just stick them right on the cabin and they hold the sunscreen in place quite nicely. To take it down, just snap it off the hook, pull it down and fold it back up, and you can store it right under the V-berth here. Simple as that. Storage aboard a small boat like Ternabout is always a problem. To help alleviate that, we installed these cargo nets either side of the V-berth. They're fastened to the trim strip with an eye hook, and we've added a third eye hook in the center here to help support the net when it's heavily loaded, as it is now with our fluorescent light. When we're anchored out and wish to read, we use our battery-powered fluorescent light. It uses 8 C cells and has 2 fluorescent tubes. You can turn them on individually or together. 1 tube, 2 tube. Actually, the 2 tube level is quite adequate to read by up in the V-berth. Another handy addition to the V-berth is this teak magazine rack we use for storing our log books and reading material. This is the bow hatch aboard Ternabout. We've tried for a number of years to devise an insect screen for this hatch. This is the most successful we've found to date. It's one of those Velcro kits you find advertised in the marine catalogs. It consists of the screen itself, plus several lengths of the special Velcro tape. One side of the tape gets taped to the overhead of the cabin, and the other side gets fastened to the screen itself. Trim it to size, you really have a pretty successful screen. To open it, simply grab one of the corners and peel it back. This screen's been aboard Ternabout for about 3.5 years now, and this is the first year we'll have to do anything to it at all. We're going to have to go in some of the tape areas and re-glue them because the tape's finally working loose. But it really works very well as a screening system, especially when we have hardware protruding down here, which would make a rigid screen almost impossible to fit. I've alluded to the fact that Ternabout has something of a weight problem. One reason is that she carries a 7.5 horse outboard in place of the more normal 4 horsepower. We've done a few things to alleviate the weight problem. For example, we've moved the battery from the stern locker up to the galley area. She still needed a little extra ballast up here in the bow though. So we place some lead ingots up here in the forward storage compartment underneath the V-berth.